everybody! Welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books, and today I'm going to be talking about all of the new books that I have bought recently, so let's get into it. I have bought so many books! I thought I was doing so well, but let's just get started with pile number one. I got A Reaper at the Gates by Sabati here with this illustrated Edge edition. This is the third book in the Ember in the Ashes quartet. The first book is an Ember in the Ashes. It is a YA fantasy series with a hint of a romance subplot, but basically the first book, An Ember in the Ashes, is following two POVs. We have Laia, who is a slave, and Elias, who is a soldier. And just like many other kind of like YA fantasy books, we have the poor and the rich and nothing in between, and it's basically just like everyone having to bow down to this martial empire of this world, and anybody who defies that meets an untimely end. And this series is actually inspired by ancient Rome, and Laia in the beginning of the book lives with her grandparents and her older brother in the impoverished back streets of the empire, and Laia's brother gets arrested for treason, and Laia is forced to make a decision in exchanging help from the rebels that are brewing within the empire's kind of slums in order to try to rescue her brother. She becomes a spy and enters into the empire's military academy as a slave, in the cook's quarters. And Laia meets Elias, who is the school's finest soldier, but he's also super unwilling, and he is the son of the commandant, who is a super ruthless woman, and she is the second in command to the king. And he wants to be free of all this tyranny, and he and Laia kind of team up together and try to take down this empire in the first book. I highly recommend the series. It's definitely kind of a dystopian-esque vibe, and since that's becoming so much more popular these days, this is definitely a series that you could pick up. Okay, this is an advanced reading copy. This one is called The Alchemy by Rachel Vincent, and it's book one of the Alchemy Trials. It says, neither Amnesia nor the two brothers trying to claim her will keep Amber from the truth about the legendary Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, so it looks like there's an amnesia trope, which I did not know, and I'm not big on. Then this is one of the most recent books I picked up, this first book in this series, and I had never heard of it before. Obviously, it's a contemporary romance series. It's like it follows the then and now timeline. It says, Leo Graham knows nothing new ever happens in the small town of Pacific Shores. That is until he runs into his new neighbor, golden-haired, honey-eyed, and sharp-tongued Darby Andrews. The mischievous surfer is immediately smitten with the innocent girl next door and vows to dedicate his summer to bringing out her wild side. As Leo and Darby's budding friendship turns into a burning love that neither of them could have expected, Leo is determined to protect it at all costs, until he finds the girl of his teenage dreams ran away in the middle of the night with so much as a goodbye. And then there is a now timeline, but I'm assuming she kind of comes back to the small town of Pacific Shores. Second chance ensues. That is Heathen and Honeysuckle by Sarah A. Bailey. Advanced reader copy. This is Where Lost Girls Go by Cody Keplinger. So it says, there are many reasons why 5 girls have ended up living with Soul in a cabin in the Kentucky mountains, but the girls don't talk about what has brought each of them here or who they were before. They have become sisters and are grateful to have a place to call home. I just thought that sounded really cool for a juvenile thriller, and you can kind of see the cover a little bit better at this angle. A creepy guy keeping girls in a cabin in the woods? Don't like that, but love it for a book. They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. This is another kind of thriller-esque book, I believe. I've read The Favorites by Lane Fargo and loved it so much, and I know that this is completely different than that book, but I really enjoyed Lane's writing, so I'm hoping that I will like this one. It says, Scarlett Clark is an exceptional English professor, but she's even better at getting away with murder. Every year, Dr. Clark searches for the worst man at Gorman University and plots his demise. Thanks to her planning, she's avoided drawing attention to herself. But as she's preparing for her biggest kill yet, the school starts probing into the body count on campus. Determined to keep her enemies close, Scarlett insinuates herself into the investigation. Everything's going according to her master plan until she loses control with her latest victim. Heard amazing things about this book. Can't wait to get into it. Now, this one I am afraid of, and I just grabbed it because the cover was cool. It's called The Dark in Her Veins by M.K. Lobb. This is coming out August 25th of this year. This cover, this is dark. Like, this has to be like a dark romance, I'm assuming. So I'm a little afraid. But I figured it's an ARC. I didn't have to pay for it. This is my chance to try dark romance and see if I like it. I don't know if I will, but we're going to try it anyway. And it says, nothing is sacred for those willing to pay the price. In Valestat, everything has a price. Sin leaves its mark in the form of the blood rot, a slow creeping disease that leads to madness, then death. The rich outsource their violence, the poor sell theirs and suffer the cost. Talon Keller is a sinner, employed by the holiest man in the city, the prophet. She stains her hands so his can stay clean. But with her blood rot rapidly advancing, Talon knows her next job could be her last. Then a new assignment puts Talon on a collision course with the warden, a shadowy figure whose name is spoken like a warning. If she can get close, she can trade his life for her own freedom and escape the death her sins have promised. That is, if she can stay steady on the knife's edge. Because Talon is dangerously drawn to the warden. Oh, he is sharp, cruel, and whatever blazes in him sparks against every dark part of her. If she isn't careful, her plans will burn. As savior and sinner tangle, Talon uncovers a conspiracy tied to the past she thought dead. And in Valestat, where sin is currency, she'll have to decide what she's willing to pay for to survive. This is Guess Again by Charlie Donnelly. This is the deluxe edition paperback. It says, your life may depend on it. I read this just as of filming this near the end of May. And it was for a bookish event that was being held through the bookstore I work at and one of my local libraries. And it was really fun because you got like these little tattoos and little sticker sheet, which I'm going to make a fun little book spread with since I read this. And I gave this 4 stars. It's a mystery thriller. I've never read anything by Charlie Donnelly before, but I've heard really great things. And I really enjoyed this thriller. There were so many twists and turns in this, and I didn't guess anything at all. I don't even really know how to describe this book to you because there's so many things going on in it. And I don't really want to say much because it'll spoil anything, in my opinion. So if you're looking for like a thriller, I read some of this and then I also listened to some of it on audio. It was a good audiobook. This is book 1 and 2 in the Chances series by Brittany Cherry, Eleanor and Gray. And I mean, the watercolor and the gold foiling, the edges, it's so pretty. And then the second book is Landon and Shay, and it's in this beautiful purple. But these are contemporary romance books, but they're a little bit deeper. They have a lot more traumatic events that happen in them. I'm just excited to try these. Eleanor and Gray, it says it's a second chance romance, so that's right up my alley. It says some hearts are worth fighting for twice. So maybe also second chance, maybe. The series is called the Chances series. Of course there's second chance, you Dumbo. Oh my gosh. Silly me. So yeah, I have Just This Once. It's book 1 in the Kings series. It's like a firefighting romance because you have these rather intense shirtless firefighter men on the sprayed edge. And if you go back and watch my June TBR cards picks my TBR video, you'll find that I picked this one in that. So take a look at that to find out more about this book. Then I also picked up another book that she had in the series called The Alias. And it seemed kind of like, it says Redemption Ranch series. And so it seems kind of like, she said there's a little bit of like dash of suspense in this series. And it just seemed neat. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. It's like somewhat mafia adjacent. So I've never read Mafia before, but maybe Mafia adjacent would be chill for me. I don't know. But the cover is another really pretty, like kind of watercolor cover. So it's Rights of the Starling by Daphne Perry. Heard absolutely amazing things about Shields of Sparrows and this book. Second book. I needed it to match. I think I'm going to love the series. I'm starting to get a little bit more into romantasy again. So I think this will be good. And obviously I don't want to say what this book is about because I haven't read Shield of Sparrows. And I don't really know what Shield of Sparrows is about either. So we're going to move on. But it's so pretty. I mean, look at it. The really pretty foiled cover and the really pretty end pages. And another book I picked up at Half Price Books, I got 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland. This is the first edition sprayed edge. It says, let the best liar win. Only one can take the crown. And this one also has really beautiful end pages and hardcover art here. And the end pages are the same. Let the best liar win. These are all of our characters that are in the book. And some of the description says, it's the season for treason. The king of Yusan must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the god King June. He has it coming. Under his merciless, immortal hand, the nobles flourish, while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery. But for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. That sounds so cool. I'm really excited about it. And then speaking of my Corland, I got from a L'Oreal book box, Verity Guild, which is her new series, I believe. Super cool sprayed edges, even though I hate snakes. Snakes on books are cool. It says, I am hunting a killer, not a lover now. And this was from their May book box. It has a little A on the cover, and it has really pretty end papers. Verity Guild says, secrets built this republic, one truth could burn it down. High Priestess Keresi Vestal has spent her life hiding the truth, that she's the last surviving heir of the magical bloodline the Republic slaughtered. One wrong step could be fatal, but when a senator is brutally killed and a temple blade is found at the scene, all eyes turn to her. Praetorian Torrin Morvain has made a career of dragging liars into the light, and Keresi is the one person he's vowed to ruin. But locked on a mountain with a murderer, scheming senators, and a prophecy of death, he's forced to work at her side. The closer he gets, the more dangerous the truth and their attraction becomes. With traitors closing in and a nation on the verge of shattering, Keresi and Torrin must risk everything to uncover the real killer, even if it means trusting their sworn enemy. From L'Oreal, I got all 3 of their books in May. We have An Arcane Study of Stars by Sydney J. Shields that she started. Really pretty floral edges all along. These are the end papers here. It says, Claudia Jolicoeur shouldn't be here. When she was rejected from Cygnus, her dream occult university, she was supposed to live out her life as the wife of an old man, a pawn sacrificed for her father's debts. But her celestial magic is rare enough to attract a nightmare named Dorian, and when he offers her a bargain entrance into Cygnus in exchange for his freedom, she accepts. As she unravels the mystery of Dorian's prison of stars, the only thing standing in her way is the handsome, cruel academic star of Cygnus, Cassius McLeod. What begins as a fierce rivalry evolves into something deeper, darker, and dangerously sensual. Now caught in the middle of an ancient curse, Claudia must decide who she can trust and who she must kill. Lastly, from L'Oreal, we have Worthy of Fate by A.N. Caudle, but has really pretty sprayed edges. They're a little different on the bottom, in the top, and the middle. It says, I will follow you to the end of time and protect you until my last breath. And this one's a chonker. This one's a hefty one. On this one, there is a map of the city. It says, a fae must risk everything to save her realm from the darkness plaguing the land in this thrilling first novel in the Realms in Peril series. The plague on Kaya's nation has taken everything, her family, her home, and now it's threatening to obliterate her entire realm. Since the gods marked her skin at birth, she's always known she'll be forced to participate in the trial of the gods when the time comes. There she will be deemed worthy and be gifted incredible powers with the nation to protect, fail, and potentially lose her life, or experience a fate worse than death. Riker will do anything for his nation, but when he finds his mate, the pull is too strong to ignore. When claiming his mate becomes at odds with the safety of his people, he must make a decision no fae should have to face and battle between the gods' will and protecting his nation from the plague. I don't mind a fated mates, depending on if it's done well. So I hope it is. Finally, 2 books in a series that we've got to finish off our video with. It is Direbound and Furybound by Sable Sorensen. And Target had the sprayed edge edition. Swords here, wolves here, swords there. And then I was like, I love this one so much that I have to go get Furybound, which just came out recently. And now that I'm like almost done with the audio, this makes total sense now. I was wondering why this was on the cover. And it makes sense to me now. Direbound, you've probably heard it's similar to Fourth Wing. Yes, it is similar to Fourth Wing, but I think it is a little bit better than Fourth Wing. I gave Fourth Wing 4 stars. I gave this 4.5. Maybe if you give it to me, I could be up to 5, but there was a little bit of nitpicky things that made me not want to give it a 5, but I'm still kind of debating. Oh, also, Look at these cool sprayed edges. Also have a lovely training scene and paper. In Diary Bound, we are following our FMC, Maren Cooper, and she lives in the country of Nocturna in the city of Sturmfrost, which is in an area that's really poor, kind of like slums. Has always hated the idea of the bonded in this book. These are like the warriors that have direwolves, and basically these people, they live in super high luxury, and Maren is struggling to keep her family afloat and out of poverty, and her little sister Selah ends up getting kidnapped, being snatched up by these people that they call the Nabbers, who have been taking children from Sturmfrost, and nobody knows why. So they are stolen by like these immortal monsters that the whole country has been fighting for like centuries off and on, and she wants to go save her sister, so she decides to enlist in the world's army, and she is ended up being thrown into the bonding trials. The bonding trials are happening that year. That she ends up unwillingly being bonded to a direwolf, her direwolf, and so she has to go into the elite training academy to become bonded. So she enters this academy, and she's called a raw bond, which is basically people that are new to the academy, need to have all their training, learn everything. She is behind everyone else because she wasn't like born into a bonded family, so she wasn't trained since she was like a kid for any of this, but she was trained in like the fighting pits in the slums, so she knows how to fight. She has a strong head on her shoulders. She is tough, she is tenacious, but she also has like soft spots to her and really cares for her family. And then she goes through and she makes friends within these bonded trials. The side characters are really fun. I hope we get a lot more of them in Fury Bound. And then also, you know, you have your typical tenuous hate to love-ish kind of vibe with one of the older bonded leaders, and his name is Stark. But then you also have her relationship with the character, his name is Lee, who is a guy that is back from where she lives in the slums, and so she's trying to kind of reconcile both of these feelings all at once. There's a little bit more to all that, but I won't say what it is because I feel like it's a spoiler. But if you have not read Diary Bound and you like fantasy romance, like things a little tropey but nothing like too crazy, I'm excited that I finally have a fantasy romance this year that I'm like liking. I haven't read a ton because nothing has been sticking, so I'm excited to jump right into Fury Bound after I finish this book. That is so many books and my voice is so tired, so I'm gonna end it right here. Let me know in the comments below what books you have hauled recently, if we have any in common, or if I kind of introduce you to some that sound interesting to you, and I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye guys.